Hello. Today, we're going to be looking at the word opinion. The origin of the word opinion was apparently derived from the Latin word opinere, which meant to think or believe. Reports say that the use of the word opinion first became popular in the year 1999, after the release of the film Star Wars Episode I, The Phantom Menace, with critics and fans alike being split on the film, between those who thought the film was bad and those who were wrong. There are also many YouTube videos that are purely based on opinion, like this one, and this one, and this one, and this one. Oh wait, sorry, that one is an opinion, that one's completely factual. What I'm trying to get at is there's really no point in getting angry at someone else's opinion, especially when the video is about Pokemon that one person just so happens to not like. So now that we got that out of the way, I'm going to be counting down the 10 Pokemon I dislike the most. And I should let you know that the main reason I'm making this video is not just because it's been requested before, but exactly 1 year ago today, as long as I'm uploading this at the right time, I made my top 10 favourite Pokemon list. And while I'm not 100% sure if that list is still the same, what better time to upload the complete opposite video exactly 1 year later. Now, even though the 10 Pokemon I'm about to talk about are as of now my 10 least favourite, I wouldn't necessarily say I hate all of them, since hate is a very strong word, about as strong as the word opinion. And if by any chance a Pokemon that you like happens to be on the list, I don't give a shit. These are just the ones that I happen to like the least. So yeah, here are my top 10 least favourite Pokemon, as of the time I'm recording this. Number 10. Simisear. It's definitely not uncommon to see one of, if not all, the Unova monkeys on someone's least favourite list, being regarded as the worst Pokemon trio of all time. And it just so happens that the one that was voted as the least popular Pokemon in Japan is also on my list. And while I don't hate this trio nearly as much as others, I'm still not a fan. The first stages I think are fine since they're cute. Simisage is the only fully evolved one that looks decent, and Simipour I think would have been my least favourite monkey, but since I started with Snivy in my original white playthrough, the monkey I was given was Pampour, and since I used it on my team for a bit, I don't dislike it quite as much. This leaves Simisear. And let's just say, when your absolute favourite Pokemon is already a fire monkey, it's going to be pretty difficult for the newer, completely inferior fire monkey to stand out. Another thing that kind of bothers me is that it always looks so miserable. The others at least look happy with their existence. I do understand that the monkeys are based on the 3 wise monkeys, see no evil, hear no evil, and speak no evil, but only one of them makes it clear which monkey they're supposed to be. Panzer's art, you can probably work out which one it is, but apart from the ear in Simisear's name, it's doing a pretty terrible job representing the monkey it's supposed to be. Same goes to Simisage I guess, but on the bright side, it looks the least bad of the monkeys. At this point I think I feel sorry for Simisear more than I dislike it, but when I really thought about it, I just didn't really care for it, enough for it to make the list. But if there's one good thing about Simisear, it does make Infernape look even better than it already is. Number 9. Drowsy. There is one simple reason why I dislike Drowsy as much as I do, and that is this game. Drowsy just so happened to be the very first Pokemon I caught in Pokemon Go, not including the starter at the very beginning of the game. And you know what? I was happy with Drowsy being my first proper catch. And then shortly after I found another one. And 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 another one.
Another one. Another one. Another one.
Drowsy for me is the Zubat of Pokemon Go. It was everywhere in my area, to the point where I just got sick of it. And it's a shame because its origin is pretty cool, being based on the Japanese myth of the Baku, a creature who ate the nightmares of sleeping people. That's a good origin for a Pokemon. Too bad Drowsy kind of sucks design-wise compared to what it's based on. It's also a Pokemon I just feel uncomfortable having on my team. It's not cute, it's kind of fat, and overall, not a fan of this Pokemon. Hypno's alright though. Number 8. Now before I reveal the Pokemon in this spot, let's take a look at some real-life birds that a Pokemon is yet to be based on. We have a flamingo. Okay. Would have been cool if something like this actually happened, but it's okay I guess. A hummingbird. Okay, nice looking bird. A peacock. Now that's a good bird choice. You could have a lot of fun making a Pokemon based off one of those. Now let me ask you this. Would you rather have a Pokemon based on any one of these, or a Pokémon based on this. Well, obviously, I'm not going to pick this, but I'm all up for a Pokémon based on almost anything as long as they can make it look good. Never mind. For me, Pelipper is just a dumb looking bird, but is that really enough to make it into my least favourites list? Well, apart from the fact that it's one of the very last Pokémon I'd want on a team, the more I looked at this Pokémon, the more it kind of bothered me. Its eyes are super weird. Like, how does its eyes work? Are they supposed to be pupils? Does it have 4 eyes? Or, I don't know. Its beak being the same colour as its belly is also weird. We can't tell where its beak ends, or if its belly is its beak. For all we know, the whole thing could be its beak, meaning that its legs and possibly rear are also part of its beak, which sounds pretty disgusting now thinking about it. I mean, its beak probably does end around here, but you get the picture. It's a bad sign when a Pokemon's design choices just raise pointless questions. Either way, I've never really cared for Pelipper, and probably never will. Number 7. So I was originally going to put Basculin in the spot, but even though Basculin, according to Ken Sugimori, was basically made last minute, there's actually a pretty good reason why Basculin exists specifically in Unova, and it is more interesting looking than what it's based on. These are the fish that Luvdisc is based on. The discus fish specifically looks very nice, but instead of giving Luvdisc one of these fine patterns, Game Freak decided to take the kissing fish and make it heart-shaped, and voila! You have a Luvdisc. The only thing going for Luvdisc is that you're able to farm heart scales from it, which is made even less useful since there are now easier ways to get heart scales in the game. The only thing I think is kinda clever about this Pokemon is that its shiny form may be a reference to a heart of gold. That's a pretty nice touch. But apart from that, making a Pokemon with a bland design, awful in battle, pretty useless overall, is going to make it among the Pokemon that I'd care for having the least. If you're not even going to make it look nearly as good as what it's based on, and you don't even evolve or have a different form to make it look even better, then what's the point? Luvdisc isn't necessarily a Pokemon I hate, but definitely a Pokemon I couldn't care less about. Number 6. Firstly, let's take a look at something called a plague doctor. These people treated victims of the plague, and have a pretty interesting look to them. Now just imagine a Pokemon version of this. That sounds pretty damn cool. Or, how about we take the plague doctor idea and fuse it with one of these? Now tell me, do you think this sounds like a good idea? Of course not. Sounds like a terrible idea. Well, too bad because it exists. The best way to describe Aromatisse for me, and what looks like most people, can be summed up in 2 words. Those words being, wasted potential. Now I was never disappointed when I found out what Spritzee evolved into, because honestly I did think it looked a lot like something that Spritzee would become. I'm disappointed because the potential of having a really cool looking Plague Doctor Pokemon is more or less out the window being wasted on this. I mean, look at this design by Astronautical on DeviantArt. This would have been pretty awesome, but instead we're fusing it with a f***ing can-can and flamenco dancer, which is the reason why Aromatisse is always in the pose revealing its leg, which just annoys me even more. I've said before that I don't despise Aromatisse as much as other people, because some people do really hate this Pokemon, but I do find it very disappointing, enough so that it's now one of my personal least favourites. Number 5. Snubbull. This is the only Pokemon on the list due to how I felt about it as a kid. Now there are plenty of Pokemon that I've changed my opinion about, and began to appreciate more over the years, because I've either learned more about it, or eventually used one on a team, or I just simply don't dislike it anymore. I loathed Snubbull when I was younger, so much to the point where, even though I don't dislike it as much as I used to, it still left a bad taste in my mouth all these years later. Whenever I think of a Pokemon I dislike, usually one of the first things I think of is the Snubbull from the anime, the one with the pink bows that wouldn't stop biting other Pokemon's tails, as well as the Snubbull from the Pikachu short that played before the first Pokemon movie. So I guess it's the anime's fault why I still dislike this Pokemon. I'm also always baffled when I hear people say that they think the Snubbull is cute. I kind of see why people would think that, but at the same time, I'd also see why someone would think Purugly is cute. In fact, if you ask me which Pokemon I thought was uglier, I'd say Snubbull hands down. I've seen some art of Snubbull making it look pretty cute, but whenever I think of Snubbull, I don't think of it looking like this. I think of this. I've also noticed that when people complain about Pokemon that look like they're wearing clothes, they never mention Snubbull. I'm guessing that it's supposed to be fur, but it sure doesn't look like it. So overall, Snubbull just isn't my cup of tea. If I really wanted a cute dog Pokemon, I'll take Lillipup any day. Number 4. Clefable. Alright, what's he sending out? Clefable? What the hell can Clefable do? It's not that good. Is it? Can't really stop me from sending out rocks, right? Oh, this is gonna be annoying. Let's see how much this does. Aha! You can't stall forever, come on. Hopefully this is enough to kill. Oh, you bitch. Well, screw this then. Yeah, that's right, keep setting up. It doesn't really matter anymore. Why didn't it take any poison damage? It has Magic Guard. This might be the most annoying Pokemon ever created. Please get a crit, please get a crit, please. Yes! Okay, one more crit and I win. Oh, fuck you. What am I supposed to do? Am I just supposed to hope for crits? I'm pretty sure it can't hurt me. What the fuck is this strategy? I don't understand. We're not playing Pokemon anymore. Does this guy find this fun? Are you having fun? I don't understand how anyone could find enjoyment out of this. Yes, yes! Finally kill this thing! What the fuck was that? It's fucking bullshit! Okay, one more hit should definitely kill this thing. Just please, please, don't miss this time. Yes! No! I actually want to die right now. This has to be the least fun I've ever had playing f***ing Pokemon. You know what, at this point I just want to kill it. Just kill the Clefable and I'll be happy. Screw the game, that fat pink shit needs to die. Please, just kill it. Just kill it! Number 3. Duck Trio. Oh, wait. There we go. So Alolan forms were an interesting idea. For the most part, we got some cool different versions of Generation 1 Pokemon. Vulpix and Ninetales became really nice looking ice types, Marowak became an awesome ghost fire type, and Raichu became a pancake loving psychic surfer. I have no f***ing clue what they were trying to achieve with Dugtrio. I'm not going to sit here and make jokes about the various people and characters this Pokemon now resembles, because it's already been done to death. I'm also all for making new variants of already existing Pokemon, as long as they look good, and if not, make them look more unique, or at least make them different enough from the original form, not stick f***ing wigs on them. Now I already know what the counter argument's going to be. This form makes sense because it's based on Peely's hair. That does not make me appreciate these things. If anything, it makes me hate them even more, knowing that the hair is supposed to be volcanic grass. You could do something cool with volcanic grass. Instead, they purposely gave each Dugtrio head a different style, making them look like they'd just been to a f***ing salon, and expect us to think, oh yes, this is how Dugtrio would naturally adapt. Because those hairstyles are so natural looking, aren't they? The only times I've heard people liking Alolan Dugtrio is all for the same reason. It looks funny, and that's fine. There are Pokemon that I like just because they look funny. I just really dislike what they did to Dugtrio, and personally for me, is easily the worst Alolan form. Number 2. Jinx. I've never really had an issue with Pokemon that look quote-unquote humanoid. Well, at least not as much as other people. There are only very few Pokemon that for me look too much like an actual person for my taste, but the one that really bugs me the most is Jinx. First off, it has basically no good sprites. They're either too creepy or too weird. The only one that's tolerable for me is the Heart Gold and Soul Silver sprite, but the two worst ones in my opinion are the Gen 1 back sprites, which just, thank god that future back sprites were changed, and a 3D model. Like, what the fuck? Its origin's also very confusing. The inspirations for Jinx are more or less all of these, yet Jinx doesn't look nearly as good as any of them. When I think about being a real-life Pokemon trainer, I think of going out and capturing interesting and unique animalistic creatures, either having them become my pet, or using them to battle others. Under no circumstances of encountering a Jinx would I ever see it as something that I'd want to travel around with. The only hope I see for Jinx is if they by any chance start to make some more new Megas in the future, or more alternative forms, and somehow make Jinx more appealing. But I honestly don't see that happening. Plus, with the chance of improving Jinx, there's also a chance of making it even worse. On the positive side of all of this, there are some people in the world who do like Jinx. Good for you. You have weird taste in Pokemon, but I'll respect it. It's abominable. So let's go back to the year 2016, during the hype season for Pokemon Sun and Moon. At the Pokemon World Championships that year, a brand new Pokemon called Crabrawler was revealed, and Game Freak advertised it to look like the ultimate anti-meta Pokemon. They made it look like Crabrawler was the answer to the most popular Pokemon being used in VGC at the time, and that got me interested. Fast forward a few months later, and every new Pokemon in Sun and Moon was finally revealed. When eventually taking a look at the full Alola decks, I notice this. I honestly didn't expect Crabrawler to have an evolution, because they made it look like Crabrawler was going to be a really strong battler, but no, it sucks. Okay, well, maybe its evolution, whatever the hell it is actually the really good battler, and the Crabrawler reveal was just a teaser. No, Crabominal sucks as well. So I basically ignored this evolution line for a while. However, occasionally I would come across a Crabominable every now and then, and every time I looked at it, the worse it would get. First off, this is in my opinion, without question, the ugliest Pokemon ever created. Remember this list I made ages ago? Congrats Crabominable, you are now number 1 on this list. You somehow managed to out-ugly a literal pile of garbage. The second problem I have is, well, again, it sucks in battle. Ice Fighting is a really cool typing, no pun intended. But while it's an amazing offensive typing, it is a horrendous defensive typing. This wouldn't be so bad if Crabominable was a fast sweeper, but it isn't. It's slow, it's frail, has a ton of weaknesses, and even if you want to use it during the main story of the game, you can't evolve Crabrawler until Mount Lanakila, which is basically at the end of the game, giving you even less reason to use one. But the number one reason that solidifies Crabominable as my absolute least favourite Pokemon is that it is pretty much the only Pokemon that makes me physically uncomfortable looking at it. I'm mainly referring to its 3D model. Now you might think that's a silly reason to dislike it because you yourself have no problem looking at it. And I'm not saying that I have to look away every time it's on screen. No, I can look at it fine. It's just, it reminds me too much of what it's based on. The way it looks, the way it moves, it makes me think of a tarantula more than the Pokemon that is based on a tarantula. So that is why I am not a fan of this Pokemon at all, and why Crabominable is overall my personal least favourite Pokemon. Well, I hope you enjoyed me explaining why I dislike some specific Pokemon, even if you yourself like any of the Pokemon I talked about. If you want to see the opposite side of the list, where I talk about my 10 favourite Pokemon instead, feel free to do so. Please leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe for more Pokemon content in the future, and until next time, thank you so much for watching.